up, everybody? Welcome to the last episode of the Modern Queer Podcast for Season 1. And it's been a motherfucking long-ass journey to get to this point. Little do y'all fucking know. But I'm here with the homie, Miguel. This is a special final episode of the Modern Queer Podcast where today it is I who am being interviewed. Some people from the Modern Queer magazine have submitted questions about me, my life, what I do, whatever, that I will answer unfiltered, raw, on the live for the podcast for my man's Miguel, who also will throw out some questions for your boy to answer today. So this is going to be a really interesting, probably very thought-provoking podcast episode. I mean, you sitting here with two cancer motherfuckers. That's a lot of water. So it is what it is. So, and I'm excited to see what kind of questions you bring up.
I just have a couple, I'm going to save them to the end. All right.
Can we just start out with one from you, though? Just give me one.
All right, I got one.
Start off with you.
I got one question. My first question to you, from me to you, is just, how do you feel like this podcast and you starting this has made you a better writer and like interviewer?
Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be a good time today. Yes. In the sense that it's really made me, cause on some of the episodes I've looked at, I'd be like, man, like I really should have honed in on this a little bit more, or I really should have asked this question a little bit differently, or I should have, depending on who it was, maybe I should have wrote a couple questions down, depending on who the person was and what was going on in their life. So it's definitely been a learning experience in that regard, just getting more comfortable talking to people, getting more comfortable asking questions, also getting more comfortable with perhaps asking some more hard-hitting questions. Like I feel like for like a first season kind of thing, like it was cool, like it was all right. But I think like moving forward, like I really do want to get like some of those in-depth, hard-hitting questions that can really start conversation and really just have people just sort of think like so. But other than that, yeah, like I now have a clear vision, like what I want to ask, like how I want to ask it, what different ways I can ask it, both here on the podcast and like everything else that I do, because all of this is kind of cohesive. So yeah, most definitely, I feel like there's, if anything, it's just made me aware that I can do better and I can get better, and that I just need to, study and practice and hone this even further. So then it's just like boom. I'm just ready to go. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that definitely answers my question.
Okay,
it's a good answer to the questions. So now we'll get into more of the raw and unfiltered questions that we've gotten from some people that are fans of the Modern Queer.
Not fans. Oh, I got fans, y'all. Oh shit.
So the first question that we have asks, how do you identify in the LGBTQ spectrum? I remember seeing you talking about being with a woman somewhat recently. Tell me about her and how you ended up having innate relationships with her despite previously identifying as gay.
So now I'm like, wow, should I really have done this? Like, wow, should I have done this?
Some of these questions are pretty.
Listen, I know. I was like, wow, you're really asking me some things. So I identify as gay when I first identified as bisexual when I was in the 6th grade and I was 11. And then, so I identified as bisexual from 6th grade to 8th grade. So that's 11 to 12, or 10 to 12, basically, that time frame. And then when I got into 9th grade, I was 13. And that's when I started to identify as gay. So I identified as gay from 13 up until 25. That's when I had that experience with this woman. Now, so part of the question is, tell us about this woman who not made you gay anymore. She turned you out. That's what niggas is gonna say. Like, oh, you got some pussy and you realized you wasn't gay. That's partly true. That's partly true, but not in like the traditional way. So like, I was a part of this group of people who, and I mentioned this, like me and Martin talked about it because Martin was a part of that. You know, we was part of this group called I Am Ill, and it was just a collective of us who were like meditating, moving into higher conscious learning, and just creatives or whatever. And so, you know, it was men, women, young, old. Some people brought their kids, both younger and older, because there was like some older women who had like teenage kids. So it was just like a random group of people.
Right.
And one of the girls in particular, so I wrote the story about her after everything had happened. One of the women, I really dug her. She was an Aries, and for me, Cancers and Aries, in my opinion, they just go together so fucking well. She was super creative. She had dope fashion sense. She had dope style. She could rap. She could do music. She was a graphic artist. Like, she was just this creative powerhouse, and I fucking dig that. I dug that so much about her, and I still do to this day. And one day, me and her just chilling in a little space or whatever, and I'm working on something. She on the other side of the room, like about as big as this room. So I'm here, yeah. She on the other side of the room. We both working on something. One of our friends leave, and I'm chilling. I'm minding my own business. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm minding my own business. I've been in the room with you, I don't know how many times. Cool. All of a sudden, she comes over to me and she starts rubbing my leg and being real, like, sexual about it. And it made me uncomfortable. But my dick got hard. And that fucked me up. I was like, what? I was more surprised that my dick got hard than anything else. Because my dick had never got hard before. And so I was like, oh shit. It's like, my dick got hard. What does that mean? Like, oh shit. Like, it was just kind of like freaking out in my mind. Like, having a whole SpongeBob meltdown, right? And I was like, no, I was like, get off of me. Like, get off of me. I ended up leaving.
Right.
And I ended up calling one of my homegirls, and I was like, my dick just got hard. What the fuck? I was tripping.
Right.
And I don't know what ended up happening after that, but we ended up like getting really close. And I did eventually end up developing feelings for her, which again was a mind fuck.
Right.
Because from 13 to 25, that moment, I was gay. Like,
right.
I lived my life as a gay man, basically, until that moment. And I really, like, I fell in love with her. So mind you, this whole thing was like a 2-week affair. Like, it really was. I really fell in love with her. Like, I really dug her. Like, and it was a lot of things. Like, one, it was liberating in the sense that at that time, and even still in some regards to this day, like, I couldn't just walk down the street and hold hands with my nigga. I mean, like, I could, but like the social stigma around it, right? And so, but I could do that with this woman.
Right.
So like, we would come downtown and we would just walk, and I would, be holding hands, and it really did look like some love is in the air kind of shit. Cause I remember like this old couple was like looking at us and saying something similar to that. And so it was just liberating. I was like, I just felt free to like express.
To like freely express love.
Freely express love. Yeah. And not to say that I didn't feel comfortable doing that, when I was with a guy, but most of the time the guys that I was with wasn't necessarily comfortable in doing that. And rightfully so. And I say I was comfortable, but even I wasn't like super, super comfortable with it or whatever. So, and I mean, it was just a bomb moment, but it turned into something dangerous. It turned into a very much manipulative game because I'm fucked up because now I'm trying to like I'm having a whole nother identity crisis. Like I already had one trying to figure out what gay was. Now I'm like, so I'm not gay. I can get hard with women. Like titties is a thing. Like all of that, right? Like I'm just like, what the fuck? So I'm like having two identity crisis.
A whole battle.
And like meanwhile, like my gay niggas who I'm friends with, whatever, is pissed because it's like I'm pandering to like all the naysayers who like, well, you know, you just ain't never tried pussy, so how do you know you gay? Just like all of those kind of things, right? So I was just like, all of that was on my mind, and we had sex. First time having sex with a woman, I thought I was scared of pussy. I was not scared of pussy. I had to learn some things about the pussy though, because I was like, why are you shivering and shaking? Like, what is that about? And she like, oh, I'm climaxing. I'm like, I'm not used to that.
Right.
I'm not used to that sort of climax or whatever. Again, I've been fucking niggas. I'm not used to that. And there was a lot of other things. Like, I feel like a kid in a science, like learning science because.
It's like you were basically relearning sex.
Yeah, relearning sex with a woman. Like.
Yeah.
Because clearly in school I did, you know, they taught us some things, but they
don't
teach us some things. So like, I remember like one time after we had finished having sex, like I was like, show me your pussy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just like science class. She was just like, okay, well here's what this is, you know, here's this.
Yeah, they did a diagram of it,
like a live action diagram. Yeah. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. My life. But like I said, like it got to be really manipulative, like really, really manipulative. Cause like I said, I'm trying to like figure out all this stuff. And so she's like pressuring me, like, no, like you need to have sex with me. We gotta have sex. And I'm like, I don't wanna have sex, but I'm like, okay, like I'll have sex with you, you know, if this is what I feel like what you think I need to do or whatever. And so some of the times having sex with her was just not enjoyable because I was like manipulated and pressured into it.
Forced into it.
I felt forced into it. And like even like my friends around me was like, what's wrong with you? Like something is going on with you. And I remember one night I was because I was still staying with my mom at the time. I was laying down in the bed. Something in me was just like, you need to leave her alone. Like leave her alone. It was saying it strongly. And I remember I messaged her and I was like, this ain't working out. Something like it. I know I was pissed. I know I was more pissed than I'm saying it. Like I was pissed. But it was something like, you know, leave me the fuck alone. Like your energy is toxic for me. You manipulate me. Like I ain't been the same since we started this. And we just like had this whole argument through text. And I was just like, fuck you, bitch. Literally. Like, fuck you, bitch. I'm done. And that was it. And yeah, after that, I couldn't say that I was gay no more. But what's interesting about that is, so how do I identify now? I don't know. I just kind of like everything.
Right.
Because what I realize is that I'm not particularly attracted to the female form, which is why I like trans men a lot. And so that was a mindfuck for me because I was like, it's not that I don't like pussy. I'm just not physically attracted to the female form. But if the pussy is on a male body, we cool. Like, I'm saying that, like, but like, those was just some things that I learned over time. It was like, okay, well then it was like, well, if I like trans men, can I like trans women? So like, these are like the questions that I've been asking myself over the years. But could I be with a woman now? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, would I still have to get over some things because it's been a while since I've been with a woman? Yeah, but I haven't really felt that kind of energy from a woman in a while. I'm around a lot of women, and I just haven't felt that sort of connection with a woman. So I don't know what the fuck I am. No idea. So that's my story about how I got turned out, y'all.
It's an interesting story.
At 25, got turned out. Was forced to be turned out, y'all. But I appreciate her. Shout out to her. appreciate it. I do. I really appreciate it. I needed that.
At least now you have, like a wider aspect of, who you are.
Right.
Stuff.
And that's really what I got at the end of it. Yeah.
So
For sure.
let's jump on to the next question. It's a little bit around the same basis, I guess, but not really.
Yeah, motherfuckers.
Tell me about your first romantic relationship with a guy. I want to know how you met him and how did things end up breaking off. Do you feel like your first relationship impacted your future relationships in any significant way?
Ooh. It is. You are learning a lot about me. So we're all yeah, that's very true. So the first guy I ever fell in love with, I'm gonna preference this by saying I don't know what this is about me and my life, but I seem to have a high proclivity towards Spanish-speaking people. I have no idea why we get along, so no idea. So the very first guy that I fell in love with and had a relationship with, his name, this is not his name. I just put it in a book as this because I wrote a book about him. Jesus Christ. His name is Reese. He stays in Lansing. He's Mexican and black. And we met on MySpace back in 2007. I had just graduated high school. It's the summer 2007. And I get this random message from this guy on MySpace. And I don't know, we just started talking. I was like, I'm about to come visit you. I went down to visit him. That relationship was wild. Because first of all, that was like my first interaction with like Mexican culture. And him and his cousins was wild. Like they was fighting, throwing shit.
Hispanic families get down, bro.
I was like, wow, like the fights between him and his mama was legendary. She speaking Spanish, he speaking Spanish.
Oh man.
I'm like, what is happening? But I loved him dearly. Like I said, he was my first love. We did a lot. Like that's how I know Lansing so well. I drove down there. We drove everywhere, all the time over down there, exploring Lansing, going out to eat, fucking around. I felt like a delinquent, pretty much, because I had never done shit like that before. I had never like drank alcohol. I never hung out in a park with friends after dark, because you can't do that shit around here. Like you can't just go. I mean, you can, but it's not safe. Not safe, right? It was safe down there. Like, and they got so many parks, and it was beautiful. So, our relationship lasted 4 months officially. He was a pathological liar, a fucking liar, and I caught him in the grandest lie ever, which pissed me off. My mom had went out of town. My mom and my grandmother, everybody was going out of town for 3 days to go down south. But I had finals. And so I was like, okay, I can't do it. And I'm like 19. I'm like 18, 19 at this time. I'm like, all right, nigga, I got a whole house to myself, like, for 3 days. Like, you want to come up and chill, Obviously, I'm trying to smash, too. Obviously. I mean, I got a whole house to myself. I'm trying to be laid up and smash and just be gay. Be gay. And
that's a straight thing too.
And listen, I know it is.
You're trying to be someone that's trying to get some. You're trying to be horny.
Yes, very much so. Trying to give you babies and you can't even have them. So I called him, explained it. He was like, okay, cool. We was gonna do it. I called him the day of, or like the day before. He was like, I can't do it. I gotta babysit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, damn, that's fucked up. I'm like, okay, cool. So I decided to throw a house party. I did something anyway. And so the day of the house party, in total cancer dramatic fashion, everybody's at my house. All my friends, we eating pizza, music, having fun. I call this nigga. I'm like, what up, babe? What you doing? This motherfucker is like, I'm going out, I'm getting dressed up, I'm going out to the club, it's just like that. I was like, oh, okay, have fun. Click. 5 minutes later, what the fuck you just like at the party though.
You let it marinate.
I had to think of process that shit.
I had to let it marinate for a second.
And so we ended it. But then like our relationship lasted a good 10 years, like off and on.
Right.
Like I would go down there and visit him, we would talk. It was like so much going on. We talked about so much. As we got older, like we could talk about like stuff that happened back then, like what was going on in his life, what was going on in my life.
Right. You guys just both like grew as people. And
Yeah.
Better and stuff.
And how that definitely coded a lot of my relationships going forward, because it's my first love. Like, and I was doing all of this shit with him. I wanted to like find that feeling again. So I'm just like out here dating all kind of random niggas, getting in all kind of random situations, trying to find love. And it didn't work out. Got my heart broken several times again, broke other niggas' hearts. Took me a long time to like not let that coat my life. Took a long time. Cause like we officially ended it 2017.
Oh wow,
and we
really?
met in 2007.
Dang.
Like we officially ended it. Like I remember I drove down there, we went out to Applebee's and we ended it.
Right, just
we ate, we talked, we laughed, we reminisced, and then we was like, okay, well this is it.
Sorry,
So,
excuse me.
You good. I'm just
Ooh.
yeah.
I don't know where that came from.
That's how that happened.
Yeah, that's I'm learning a lot about you.
That's how that I've lived several lives.
Yeah, I can tell.
Several lives.
Yeah.
I mean, I still love him very much to this day. I haven't seen him and talked to him in a while, but I wrote a book about him. That's who my first book is about. It's about our relationship.
Okay. So if you want to know more, go ahead and
yeah, go find that book on Amazon. It's called One Way Alley.
There you go.
It's on sale. It's about me and Reese.
Make sure you get them plugs in.
Nah, listen, I got you. These niggas.
Okay, so we'll move on to another question.
Yeah, come on.
Since having your experience with a woman, can you tell me what the difference is in being with a man and being with a woman? And
Nothing.
would you choose one over the other.
There's nothing different.
There's no difference?
To me. Nah, okay. Nah, this is... I recognize for a lot of you motherfuckers, this might be a very controversial statement. But to me, there's no difference. There's no difference. And you would say, well, how is that possible? Because vaginas get wet and asses don't. Well, ha, jokes on y'all, because asses kind of do get wet. Jokes on y'all. And probably a lot of y'all know that, because a lot of y'all is probably fucking y'all girls in the ass now. Because y'all do that now. This is a socially acceptable thing in heterosexual relationships. Y'all do that. So y'all probably know what I'm talking
I did
about.
not think you was going to be spazzing like this today.
Because I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But like, to me, there is no difference. Like, I've fucked some very wet, nice vaginas. And at the same time, I fucked some very nice, wet asses. And loved both experiences very much. Shout out to my ex. You know who he is. That man, his body knew me. That's how serious it was. And my body knew him. Because when I would think his name, I would instantly get hard. And he hated that. And I'm like, but that's a compliment. I'm like, the fact that my body and your body recognize each other that much, I'm like, that's a compliment. He hated it. There is that, like, so to me, there is no difference. There's no difference. Y'all should try some ass sex sometime. So there is no difference.
Okay. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be a longer answer than that.
No, I mean that's about it. There ain't no difference between ass and pussy for me. They both grip your dick.
Both got some squish on it.
Thank you. Listen to the man. They both got some squish going on.
Man, I'm just referencing what you said. It's like, I know. Oh man. Okay, but
trying to tell you, get some ass.
Another question that we have from a fan of yours. Do you now feel obligated to let any future partners know that you are active with both men and women? How do you think they will respond if they only ever identified as gay with no interest in trying another or anything with a woman?
So me personally, especially now where I'm at in my life, like I am blunt and honest and open. Clearly. Clearly.
First four questions.
Clearly. I'm very open and blunt and honest about my experiences. So I definitely let people know, like, if I'm dating them or if we're talking or whatever, that I've had experiences with both men and women. Because it's just like, why would I hide that? Some people, like, in the past, I know there was a girl I was talking to. She had a crush on me, and she was nice. And this is how I knew she had a crush on me, because, we was on three-way with her sister. That's how I knew she liked me, because I was like, what? This is awkward. But I told her that I was bi, and she just, like, ghosted me.
Right.
I ain't never heard from her ever again in life. And so there have been some situations where, I'm talking to a guy, and I tell him that I do everything, and they might take offense to that or feel some kind of way. Again, going back to, well, people insecurities. They're like, oh, well, if you out here fucking everybody, like, then you just looking at everybody, or again, going back to that, you pandering to social stereotypes and social stigmas that they say about gay people or queer people and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, to me, it's just why not? Why would I lie about my life experiences?
You are who you are.
Yeah, I am who I am. I mean, either you gonna rock with it, or you're not gonna rock with it. So
yeah, somebody gonna rock with it.
I hope
somebody gonna rock with it.
Rock with it. Lean with it, rock with it.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to another question then. What has been the most challenging part about your gay experiences? Have you gotten through it, or haven't you?
Ooh, the most challenging experiences. I have gotten through them. Let me just say that. I have gotten through them. Took a lot of meditating, took a lot of finding myself, took a lot of crystal work and burning sage and crying and sitting in stillness and dealing with myself. And that's the speedy version of all of that. When I first started identifying, or when I first officially knew that I liked men, that was rough. That was a rough time, because that was like 2003, 2004. Totally different landscape than it is now. And I grew up in Beecher, which is still a very closed community, but not closed like it was back then. So how I got outed in ninth grade. I got outed. Yeah. Because what happened was, and it is naivety. It was naivety on my part as well. So this guy who I was friends with, who is gay, even though you don't want to admit it, bitch, we know you gay. I was at home writing a story, writing a very nasty, explicit story about some niggas who I liked and who I wanted to bang.
In what grade?
In ninth grade, at 13 years old. I was like, I wanted to bang some niggas, so I was just creating.
You had fan fiction of Beecher High School?
Yes, I did. Literally. Yes, I did. In the library, in the hallways, in the classroom. So my man's called me. He was like, "What you doing?" I was like, "I'm writing a story about that." And he was like, "Well, I want to read it." And me not thinking at the time, again, I'm naive, total naivety. One, I'm not asking myself, why this straight nigga want to read some gay shit? Didn't think about that. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I'll bring it to school tomorrow. I'll print it out and bring it to school. That was a mistake. So basically, that's how the whole school found out. It was rough. It was rough after that. I lost all of my friends. All of them. In a school day. All of them. And I really became subject to a lot of mental, emotional abuse throughout high school because of that. Like people would be like, "Oh, don't go sit next to Xzavier because he gay." Like, but telling new people that who come to the school, or, you were gay by association, basically. So I never could make any true lasting male friendships in high school, which fucked me up for like a good portion of my life because I didn't know how to have male friendships or whatever. That wasn't we together and we fucking. You know what I mean? So I didn't have any male friends for a long time. So like every year it was some bullshit happening. So that was super hard. I became super depressed. I hated myself, tried to kill myself. That was a rough time. Like so I got to ninth grade when I was 13. I graduated high school like 16. So like for all of them years, I was going through like that every day. That fucked me up for years. Like I said, thank God with a lot of meditation and a whole bunch of other stuff, I got through that. So that was one hard part. The next hard part was family. My uncle abused me. He didn't sexually abuse me, thank God, but me and my uncle was physically abusive. He harassed the shit out of me, and my family didn't do anything about it. So that hurt it for a while, and I just recently, within like the last couple of years, let that go, like or rather dealt with that, sort of healed from that and moved on from that. So that was another rough spot, and then just trying to figure out what the fuck that mean. Like what does being gay mean? What does that look like for me?
Just finding the identity.
Yeah, really trying to find that identity. Like trying to make friends, trying to be in relationships, just regular life shit, just while being gay. And who I am today, like, is a whole hell of a lot confident than I was back then, and it definitely shows. Cause I was gonna do the 10-year challenge. I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I was like, I don't need y'all seeing that sad excuse of a nigga back then. Cause the look in my eyes was totally different. I don't even look the same. I had hair. I'll show you some photos. I had hair. Waves too. Ooh, I'm so mad. So I'll show you some photos.
You have to show me.
I'll show you some photos.
I'll show you mine, but mine I'm like 12 years old. Mine. So.
Let me see. 10 years ago, I was 21. So
you just see me go through puberty. That's in your challenge.
Did you post it?
No, I didn't post anything. I'm not posting that.
He said, no. I don't want y'all seeing my pee-pee best itself. Okay, we'll try when you're 25. So you got 15 and 25. But yeah, those are some moments. I've healed from those moments. I've grown from those moments. I've written books about those moments. Yeah, I'm good now, though.
Good.
Love myself. Love who I am.
You seem to be doing pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this podcast, interview niggas, and do a whole magazine about gay people and not have some sort of confidence.
Right.
That would be scary.
Well, now we're gonna move to the more focus on the magazine. I guess.
Oh, okay.
So now that we've gotten a lot of backstory on you, gotten to know you
just
pretty well.
Just a little bit. Not even just a little bit.
Okay, so question from one of your fans of the Modern Queer magazine says,
"You was funny with this fan stuff, but I'm here for it though."
How has the first edition of the Modern Queer challenged who you are and how you think as a queer individual?
Ooh, that first season was interesting because it was such a new idea. Like it had never been done before in Flint, and I want to say so. There are like some queer magazines, but I don't know if there's like I have to do more research to find more hyper local queer magazines. There probably are some out there. But like at least here in Flint, like the idea had never happened before. And so one of the challenges was getting over the insecurity about, is people really gonna fuck with this? Like, is this really a good idea? Like it was definitely getting over that. And then just interviewing people. And now like their stories is in my hands, right? I gotta do a good job. I can't just put out some bullshit.
Right. You gotta do these people justice.
I gotta do them justice, or they're gonna come beat my ass. Like, they gonna talk shit about me on the internet. Like, I know these niggas. These ain't no regular niggas. These so I pull up on y'all. They got my address in my folder, in my social media handles. So it's definitely that, but I definitely learned a lot about myself interviewing that first group of 8 people. Just like how much I overcame, but 2, how much, one of the things that really stuck out to me was, even though we may be Black and queer, even though we may be under that umbrella, our experiences are never the same. They're never the same. That was one thing that I really had to learn, because while I had a horrible experience in high school, some people had fabulous experiences in high school, which made me jealous for a while, because I didn't have it. Or whatever.
I was out here struggling.
I was struggling. Fucked up. I also learned, another thing that I learned was more about queer women and their experiences, because I had never been around like lesbian or trans women and that sort of thing, like just how they live their lives and what that experience is. But I really didn't have a lot of knowledge in that. And so that was an eye-opener, like, what? Like, y'all do what? Because I was like, some of the stuff I would be asking would just be like, so, like, how does sex work? Like, seriously, how does sex work? Like, talk to me about that and tell me something, because I'm trying to learn. I know how it worked for us, but I don't. Listen, for a long time, I did not know how women peed and used the bathroom. I swear to God, because I grew up in a house of all boys, and my mama, and I'm not about to walk in the bathroom and pissing, right? So I thought they peed out their ass for a long time. I'm not joking. I really thought women peed out their ass for a long time, until I discovered that that's not the case.
Yeah, that's not how that happens.
That's not how that happens at all.
That's not how that happens.
So like that like those are the 2 big things that I learned, is that even though we're Black and queer, or people of color and queer, that our experiences are different. And I learned a lot about women. Queer women.
Women?
Yeah, queer women.
Queer women.
I learned more about women. Just how they navigate this shit. Because this is a challenge for them too.
Some true stuff right there. He really thought that I wouldn't beat out of their butt. I'm still stuck on that.
I did. Listen.
I'm
Because I'm a kid and I'm not around women like that. Like, in my family, all my cousins, except for one, are boys. All of us are boys. So we just a family full of niggas.
Having a Royal Rumble, man.
Literally. Like, all we doing is fighting and wrestling and playing video games, playing sports, and being loud. Like, and it was literally one girl cousin. That's it. And we all respected her and looked out for her because she was the girl cousin. And plus, she's older than me or whatever. But, like, that was it.
Right.
The rest of them were just niggas. And so I'm like, I didn't know nothing about women and their anatomy like that. Don't laugh at me, y'all.
That's just.
I'm not.
How old were you when you found out the truth?
How old was I? I don't know. I hope I was in my teenage years, but I can't even.
I was gonna hope you would say before 10.
No, definitely. It was later in life when I found that out, because I just stopped thinking about it, and I was just like, well.
Yeah, your problem.
Yeah, like, I know how I pee. And then you got movies where, like, I don't know what movie it was, but I know you got some movies where, like, white women is like going into the men's and just like doing all of that. And so I'm like, well, that's not right.
From like Step Brothers?
Yeah, like some shit. Yeah.
One chick put her leg up on the urinal.
Yeah. Examples like that.
Okay, well, before we get stuck on that topic,
okay, yeah, because I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to get canceled.
That might have happened earlier this episode. I don't know. We'll see how it.
Well, listen, that's the first episode we gonna get canceled
Right.
on. That Dave Chappelle episode, we definitely get canceled on that one.
Alrighty. Well, the next question that we have, it asks, because you're writing such intense stories, does it become hard to write sometimes?
Sometimes. Cause y'all be out here going through some real shit. Like some real shit.
Would you say sometimes people's story just kind of tells themselves?
Yeah. Like sometimes, like there are some people that I've interviewed that I'm like, you do a better job at telling your story than I probably ever could. Which is why, like specifically with Flintside stuff, like that's why some people have Q&As instead of like a narrative form, because I be listening and I be like, no, you said that way better than I could write that, so I'm just gonna do this so people can hear like you actually say this and not just my interpretation of it. But yeah, sometimes it is hard because, you know, across the board, like people going through shit, like people going through dealing with death, dealing with drugs, dealing with abuse, dealing with identity, and just trying to navigate their way through all of it to be healthy, whole, and better people. And that shit sometimes get rough. It get rough sometimes. Like, I be sitting here. So like from my perspective, right? I'm interviewing somebody. They tell me some crazy fucked up shit that happened in their life, right? Where it almost bring them to tears, and probably did bring me to tears because I'm just an emotional nigga. And I have to go home and die. So I go home and chill because I'd be like, whoa, shit, that was a lot. Where's the beers? I need the beers and the anime and the video games. I need to chill because that was a fucking lot. Like, oh my God. And then but I have to jump back into that world whenever I write the article or design the magazine and land all the stuff. I have to go back into that and I have to re-feel that. And then I have to feel it in such a way that when I write it, whoever's reading it also feels it. You know what I mean? So you understand the gravity of this person's words in their life too. So now it's just I feel something, now you gotta feel something, and we all feeling something about this one person's story. And that might be triggering. Sometimes that's triggering for people who read that. In a good and bad way. It might trigger them to be which I'm not even gonna bullshit you, it's the goal of one of the goals of why I write is because I want you to feel something when you read. I want you to have to think about something, whether that be their life or your life. How would I react in that? Or, oh shit, I'm going through the same thing and I'm looking for a way out of it or a way to navigate this. I'm gonna use that as an example or whatever. So, yeah, that shit is hard sometimes. Sometimes I gotta do some shit, burn some sage. Yeah,
it's gotta be hard to keep it interesting, especially all throughout the year as a writer.
But that comes with time and skill, and I don't think I could do it if I wasn't in a clear-headed, grounded, level-headed space that I'm in.
Right.
I don't think I could be able to write that, because then I'd be fucked up. Just falling out every fucking word in true Cancer dramatic fashion. I would be fucked up, falling all over the place. I can't do this. The story is so sad. What am I supposed to do? Okay, all of that. So yeah, that's that question. All right, pause. What's your question? You said you had a couple questions. We got 6 questions to them. All right, what's yours? I got to turn to you. Okay, stretch first. You look like you're a little sleepy today.
I have been everywhere today. I've had to do internship stuff and school stuff.
Yeah, you did say you was doing paperwork.
I did homework for 4 hours today. As soon as I got home from my internship.
Hey, I was about to say, class just started.
It's my first day of class.
How the fuck you do homework for what the fuck?
Math. It doesn't make sense.
What kind of math you taking?
I think it's intermediate. I know it's more than beginner.
I already know. Not
Yeah,
intermediate algebra.
and it goes through not just algebra, everything. Like, it's going through geography, and then it's
Ah!
also making me do a little bit of algebra and then
Kill us
fractions,
now.
decimals,
Oh
percentages,
no! Ah, okay. Now I'm having
PEMDAS, all that.
flashbacks.
Yeah, I had to do all that just today. That was just in my
Oh
assignments today.
no!
But yeah, so
They,
sorry if
they,
I seem a little.
they dropped
tired.
all that on you today.
First day of class. It's definitely not fun.
They not fucking around with y'all now. God, not even the. We just gonna look through the syllabus and I'm gonna let y'all go with like 30 minutes.
No.
Y'all stay the whole. Wow.
Yeah, nope. I mean, that's probably how it'll be for my in-person class that I have on Thursday. But this was an online class that she just posted like 2 hour-long assignments that were lectures of her breaking stuff down, and then we had two homework pieces and a quiz.
Well, listen, I'm glad you are at least competent enough to be able to do that.
You know, it's all part of the grind. 2 years
'Cause,
it'll pay off, or 4, you know.
Shit, I'm not good at math in the way they teach it. I'm not gonna say I'm not good at math because I can do math, but how they teach it, I feel like such an idiot.
All right, so let's get off of me. Let's get back on to
Okay,
you, okay?
okay. Yeah, ask me one of your questions.
Since you began writing, do you feel like it's improved your relationships with people, or do you feel like it's kind of had a damper on some of them?
Yes. Yes to both. Especially now, because and I'm upfront with people, especially if I'm gonna let you know this right now. If I know you and we have interactions, you're going to end up in a story somewhere in life. It's gonna happen because I've written about literally almost everybody who at least has made a meaningful impact in my life. Like, they are in a book that I've released. So you're probably gonna be in a book somewhere later on down the line. I just want you to expect that. And so, like, that's with like relationships or whatever. So it's like, if we talking for a while and we in a relationship and we dating, it's been a minute, I'm probably gonna write a story about you, or I'm probably gonna write a couple stories about you, and you're probably gonna end up in a book. I mean, of course, your name and everything will be changed, but you're probably gonna end up in a book somewhere.
Right, it'll probably be some type of story.
Yeah, it'll probably be some type of story, because that's how I process my emotions and my feelings in my life or whatever. And also, like, that's one way how I show my love. Like, if I love you and I'm inspired to use my gift to write something about you, I must really fucking care about you. And they are good stories. I'm not even gonna hold you. There are some good stories. Like, they're very introspective stories of like these people who I meet and who I may love and who I may want to fuck and who look good and all that kind of stuff. I'm just being honest. I'm just an honest nigga. But yeah, like sometimes that can hinder something, because people will be like, oh my God, what are you gonna say about me? Or a lot of times what happened back in the day was people had never had a story written about them. And so like this is the first time like they know that somebody has written something about them. And not necessarily like in a bad way, but just in general. Just like this nigga really wrote something about me. Like, I don't know how to feel about that or whatever. And now, because of like what's going on in my life now, like people, which took me a while to get used to, people will be like, oh, you the fucking media. Like, oh, I can't talk to you, nigga, you the media. Like, all I said that to me one day. He was like, talking to you about this shit, nigga, you the media. And I'm like, what? Like, I won't say I took offense to it, but I used to be bothered because I'm like, nigga, I ain't going around gossiping about y'all, like, y'all lives, and like just trying to chill and find out what the fuck is going on in y'all life. But, you know, because of the position that I hold, like, yeah, I mean,
they're not wrong. You are the media, but you are still Xzavier.
These things are true at the same time. So I just had to learn to sort of like accept it. Like, it is what it is. As not gonna change anytime soon. And like you said, like somebody gonna rock with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least I'm not out here slandering people. I'm just out here like, yeah, so me and this nigga met up at such and such a bar, and I liked what this nigga had on, and I was like, damn, kind of cute, and just like stuff like
Right.
that, but obviously way more detailed and nuanced than that. So yeah, that happens sometimes.
All right. Well, let's move on to another question now, and this one's still more just about you, just personally about you again. We're gonna jump back to it. If you could be a character in an anime series, which one and why?
I know who asked this question. I would be Jiraiya from Naruto.
Pervy Sage.
Yeah, I would be Pervy Sage.
Pick.
And I did not know I was him until I really sat down and I thought about like, I'm definitely the Jiraiya, because this is gonna sound so weird. So at one point in my life, my spiritual totem or my spiritual animal or whatever was a frog. And so when I'm watching Naruto, I'm immediately drawn to Sage Mo and Gamabunta and Gamakichi and like all of that, right? And so then when Jiraiya come and he just like broke that shit up, and I was like, yeah, that's me. So like Jiraiya was like, the progenitor of Sage Mode. Basically, he had this affinity towards the frogs. The two older frogs would just be chilling on his shoulder. He was a writer. He was the one who was writing the damn pervy novels that Kakashi was reading all the fucking time. And at the same time, he was a teacher, right?
Yeah.
And so, who was mentoring Naruto and a couple other niggas. And so that's basically really what my life was. Like, I taught for a while, and I mentored a lot of people and still kind of do to this day. I had this spiritual affinity towards frogs. I am kind of a perv. Am I right? Like, I'm not going peeping in this shit or whatever. Like he and Kakashi was doing,
He's on demon time.
Yeah, trying to do some research. I just use my imagination or whatever. My imagination is pervy. So, and just like all of these things, I really felt like, and just like his empathy and stuff like that, I really felt and connected with Jiraiya. And so when I played the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm fighting games, y'all, back in the day on the GameCube, I would pick Jiraiya and stuff like that. So that's who I mostly identify with. That's my nigga.
I like that. That's a good answer. It's got deep into it. It's good though. I like the character reference.
That's my nigga. I love Jiraiya. Kill my nigga. And then brought him back for Boruto and like some weird.
Yeah, that clone thing.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? Damn, I hope my downfall don't come from a former student. Oof.
I didn't get it at first.
I didn't think about that.
Damn.
Well.
But I hope I don't get some Renegon or something.
Listen, okay, try to fuck me up, like what? Try to kill my career? Thankfully, I'm like, I got the receipts. Anyway, continue.
All right, this one's gonna be a little bit more deep. Where do you stand on children and leaving a legacy?
Ooh, so I love kids. Kids, all my life have been naturally drawn to me. I kid you not. All of my nieces, all of my little cousins, when they come over, because I stay with my grandma because she's 80 years old or whatever. So when I stay, so they don't come to talk to my grandma. They say, hi, grandma, and they come downstairs to talk and play with me. Never fails. And even when I was teaching, like, little kids just wanted to be up under me. So, and other people's kids, they're like, what is with me and kids?
They're just drawn to you.
They just drawn to me, and this is how I know I'm probably gonna be a good father. I just love kids. So I love kids, and even being a queer man, like, I would like to have a kid, at least one. I kind of would like and they be like, what? So you want to like, how do you want to have kids? Like, you want to adopt a kid? I'm like, no, I'm probably going to fuck a woman and impregnate her and she going to have my baby. Like, that's probably how this is going to work out. And then, in my mind, like one of the life scenarios in my mind was I would probably be a single father with full custody of my child wherever I'm at with a dog. That sounds gay as hell. That sounds so gay. But that's one of my things in life. It's like that sounds dope as fuck. Like I'm a single dad, got a dog raising my kids. We just out here doing this. That just sounds fucking dope. But as far as legacy, legacy is interesting to me because I have a friend who always talks about wanting to leave legacy and stuff like that. But legacy for me is interesting. Like, I feel like legacy for me is broad. It doesn't, I could have a child, but that's one form of legacy, right? Like, everybody who I meet and like have a conversation with, I feel like I leave a legacy in some sort of way. Like, we've impacted each other's lives.
You leave an imprint.
Yeah, you leave an imprint basically. So like, that's a legacy. Like, I have books, this podcast and all the stuff I'm doing will ultimately leave a legacy when I'm gone or whatever. Or even if I stop doing it and I'm still living, it's still a legacy. So all of these different things I think about as legacy. Like I'm creating things is being out. I'm affecting people's lives. I'm meeting people. I'm connecting with them. We're sharing conversations and energies and all that kind of stuff. And to me that's legacy. So I'm constantly leaving a legacy as I go about this life.
So that actually answered my next question that I was gonna ask too. So.
Y'all had some good questions. I'm proud of y'all.
Yeah.
Proud of y'all. Y'all really want to know some shit.
We've been going at this for a minute too.
Yeah, how long is it?
I don't even know how long.
So it's like almost 8 o'clock. When did we start?
I want to say.
Because it definitely wasn't at 6.
No, it was a little bit before 7.
For real?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Hold on. We'll pause this real quick.
For real?
Let me see what's going on here.
Brief intermission.
Oh, it's actually just at an hour.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yo, it feels like way more than an hour.
How many more questions do you want to do?
Huh?
How many more questions do you want to do?
Well, it's I ain't got shit to do after this. Yeah, again, throw your own questions up in there.
I got you. What? You already answered the question. I didn't have many questions.
What?
I just had the 2, man.
What?
I didn't come prepared like you did.
What? I mean, listen, I ain't come prepared. They came prepared.
Okay.
Just here answering some shit.
Alright, so we're gonna get back into it. Tony can cut all that.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he did it.
All right.
Just leave it in, bitch.
Alright, so we're gonna ask a question more based about the magazine and Modern Queer. And that is, how do you plan on improving the magazine in the year of 2022?
That's a good question. It's definitely gonna have to be, at least right now, through the storytelling aspect, because last season 4, I got to work with Xander, who's up here, and Xander, she took most of the photographs, which came out beautifully, and trying to replicate that level of photography is hard, because I mean, like, she charged me, but since this was like a new thing for her, she was just getting her feet wet. Like, we managed to work out something where I could be able to afford, given what I make right now, which is not very much, to be able to pay her to do that.
Right.
But obviously, people want money or need money to do what they do, and so right now one of my issues is trying to find a photographer that that'll work well in my budget right now, so I could pay them, or at least we could work out some kind of bartering or something like that, which a lot of people in the city don't like to do. I mean, in some ways, respectfully so, or whatever. So that's the challenge. But so I'm definitely, until I get that straight up, definitely always be the storyteller. Like, what new avenues of the queer experience can I explore with these people? Um, how can I do better in presenting, these stories, like the magazine layouts, the styles, how do I lay out the pictures, what kind of designs, like I do all of that shit through Canva, and Canva is not the best software in the world, and I want to learn like either InDesign or Photoshop to be able to do that. But then when I load it up and I boot it up and I literally see icons all over the fucking screen, I'm like, I'm fucking anxious. Like, I don't even know where to begin doing this shit. Like, I spaz the fuck out so hard when I see a Adobe screen, because I'm like, what the fuck is all of this? So I really wish somebody out there could like help assist me with doing that, or at least teaching me how to learn it. Because if you teach me, I could probably do it myself,
right,
or whatever. So these are things that I'm cognizant of, but I just want to be able to tell good stories, or even better stories, of like the different walks of life, and be able to present that in a way that's visually appealing and whatnot. And so I think, also now we have this, now I got the podcast. So now it's like, the people who I interview that are in state in the magazine, I can just bring them on the podcast, and we could just do like an extended interview, or give them like some separate shit or whatever. So those are two things that I'm definitely focused on: is storytelling and presentation, and bringing them on here to be able to get that sort of in-person feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Until something else pops off. Stay tuned. I'm just talking shit. It usually just pops up and happens magically. I really don't be planning too much. I really don't.
2022 is gonna be your year.
Yeah.
Gonna start popping. Already been popping on.
Niggas. Let me stop. Too hype. Too fucking hype.
Okay. What do you believe is the main motivation for you to be yourself?
Ooh. Because for so long I felt like I couldn't. Like, I put myself in boxes. I didn't want to cause trouble or disturb the peace, kind of thing. And it was just like, fuck it. Like, I just gotta be me. I gotta be me, and I gotta do me, and I gotta be powerful in me. Because now, like, I guess, is this sound ego-ish? I don't know. It might. I know it's not, so fuck it. I have a lot of people watching me. A lot of people, and not just watching me to like hate, but like really watching to see what's possible. Especially a lot of queer people, and a lot of young people, like in that early 20, late teen phase, who like really watching me. And so it's important for me to be who I am, so it can give them permission to be who they are and do what they feel like resonates with their spirit. Because if I can't be me, I can't expect nobody else to be me. Like, I say that, so I gotta be authentically me, and all my goofiness and all my weirdness and craziness and hand movements and all craziness. I gotta do that, because I know somewhere that's giving somebody else permission to be who they are. So like, that's my main motivator, to just knock this shit out, keep evolving, keep growing, and be like, fuck y'all. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's that weird, goofy shit.
Fuck y'all.
Bitch. 2020.
All right, it's time to get serious. A question from one of your fans.
You and this fan's word. This fan
fans,
word,
man.
is...
What you expect me to say?
This fan word is fucking funny.
All right. I'm going to call them what they are. Do you believe there will ever be a time when the LGBTQ community are seen as equals?
Ooh. I hope so. I really do. Because I think it's one of the things where the more equality we have, the better the world would be. I know that sounds so fucking cliche. It really does. But like a lot of shit has changed. A lot of shit has changed for the better. And I look at like the generation that's coming up under us, like the fact that they can be so much freer than I was, or whatever. I think just speaks, and they're more accepting. I think that's. Have I figured that out? Did I just figure that out? Yo, I think I just figured it out.
Made a self-discovery.
I think I just made it because I always used to wonder like why. So this is a weird thing about my life. I attract older women and younger men, and I never could understand why that was. I think I just realized that shit. I think they're more. I think younger people are more accepting nowadays, and I think as much as they're accepting is as much as they're looking for ways to be free and be comfortable in who they are. And I think I bring that to the table with a lot of people. Is that I really I can sort of feel that in my heart space. Yeah, I think I just provide a safe space for people to just be who they are. And I think that's why I attract a lot of younger men. Does that explain the older women though? I don't know. I was gonna say something totally egotistical. It's totally about to say something. Yeah, because I'm that motherfucking gentleman. Like I was.
Hey, women love gentlemen.
They do, and I used to think that
it is what it is.
It probably is. I used to think that nice guys finish last, and I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with that. I'm chilling.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right.
All right, you think we good? How you feeling?
No, I think we've only got a couple more questions we can get through.
All right, well let's knock out.
I'm not trying to rut.
No. Let's knock out. Let's knock out like what'd you say? Let's knock out 2 more.
Okay. I'll give you some good
ones. Yeah.
What drives you / gives you passion, and why?
Ooh, what drives me? It gives me passion. Myself. I know that sounds so like what? Like this nigga out here. Like no.
Talk your shit.
No, it's not talking shit though. Like just me and my relationship with universe and spirit. That's what drives me. Because you're gonna laugh at this. So part of my spiritual journey was I literally lived like a monk. Like a modern day Tibetan monk in an inner city. Like I literally stayed in the house for 3 years. I'm not bullshitting you. I literally stayed in the house and lived like a monk for 3 years to figure out who the fuck I was. Kid you, and deal with my shit, literally. And so during that time, like during that whole growth phase of my life, I learned not to seek external validation, which means that I don't need nobody gassing me up or hyping me up or liking my photos and that kind of shit for me to feel good about me and for me to feel like I'm doing a good job or I'm doing the shit or whatever. So not having that, like what keeps me going is me. Like it's me and spirit. Is the fact that I want to do this. I love doing this. I enjoy it. Like I asked to do this years ago and it's just now manifesting right now. Yeah, I mean that's truly what keep me going. Like I want to fucking do this shit.
It's a good answer.
This shit is fun. Like I'd be like, what, who the fuck am I interviewing today, bitch? Like I'm about to write a bomb-ass story. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel. I literally be at the crib like writing some shit and finishing.
You're getting excited.
This some bomb-ass shit. I did that shit. And I'd be like, cool, send it off to the main editor and crack open the beers and be like, I fucking did that. Come through, I did that. I'm my own hype man. That's why I like hyping people up though. I think it's fun to hype people up. Some people get a little like, no, bro, you know, stop. And I'm like, what? You the motherfucking shit. You did that shit, motherfucker. What? Extra. I'm so extra. So I'm about to hype your ass up when you start doing your shit. Just prepare for me to hype you up.
You're gonna see a lot more stuff that I'm gonna be doing just from the fact that I'm gonna be taking cinema production class. So I'm gonna be having to shoot stuff and act and stuff and do stuff in order to get a grade. So
I'm about to hype your ass the fuck up. Unless the energy is like Miguel, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's your lane, bro. But
hey, I need people like that. I don't need to be doing no acting or nothing. You tell me that.
I don't know. You know, but like if it feel good and I'm like, oh shit, motherfucker, do that shit, bro. You like. I'm a hype man for no reason.
So am I. I'm the same way. I'm like if I have a friend that does something well and I see them doing it well, or if I see them improving on something that they haven't been doing well, I'm gonna hype you up.
I'm telling you, hype you up.
Like it doesn't matter if like you don't care to hear me hyping you. I'm gonna hype you up because I'm excited for you.
Literally,
you know what I mean?
Literally, hype.
Okay, so our final question that we have for the first season of the Modern Queer Podcast.
I don't know how to do none of that.
What is your overall goal for the Modern Queer?
Oh shit, that is a good final question. Okay, because that means both the magazine and the podcast. My overall goal is to, is to create a space that is accessible and that can drive conversation, dialogue, fun, and healing. That's my overall goal. And can be like not like a traditional school, but like a place where people can be like, damn, I really learned something. Like I really walked away from watching that, or I really walked away from that interview. I really learned something, or whatever. Whether it be about the other person, or whether you learn something about yourself. Like that's something that I really want to be cognizant of, you know, through all my platforms.
Make people think and make people have realizations and connections and stuff to your content, what you're writing and putting out and stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, I want it to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we talking about real shit, but in the midst of that real shit, we can like crack some jokes and laugh about some random shit, like the fact that I didn't know that women could pee out their vagina. So we just have some moments like that and laugh, or sit here and have some beers and shit and just, you know, have some good-hearted, good fun conversations sometimes. Like everything doesn't always have to be so serious, because although I am a serious motherfucker, I do like to have fun. I do like to laugh a lot, and I do laugh a lot. So I just want to bring those things to the magazine, to the podcast, to whatever I do. Because if I'm not having fun, I ain't doing that shit. Because I'm like, I can go do something else. I can go build me a motherfucking computer and play some computer games or something off Steam and Epic Games.
Funny other things. It's fun, more fun to do than working.
Definitely way more fun. Shit. Go watch some porn or something. That sounds more fun. Just whatever. Yeah. But look, I'll ask you a motherfucking question.
Oh, you gotta ask me a question.
I'll ask you a motherfucking question. Since we only... So, like, in your opinion, like, talk to me about your experiences doing this podcast. Because you have been here, not every episode, but you've been here through the majority of the episodes, and you've been witness to a lot of different conversations with a lot of different people. Like, what's the question I want? Like, what have you come away from with this?
From what I've learned and the people that I've met and seen and the stories I've heard from, just everybody that's been in here from Farillo Star, Joe Ikigai, Reese Nicole, Tim
Right.
Boogie, and Crip, and then Arline, all them people. Everybody that's
We had a lot of motherfuckers.
We had a lot of, those are just people I've been here for.
There's a lot of people.
And then, can't forget Martin.
Yeah,
and,
Martin.
Is it Irving?
Ventura.
Yeah, I was thinking
Doc
of his
Crispy.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook name, but yeah.
Syak. Yeah.
All them. It's just that like everybody in Flint, they just want to make it. You know what I mean? We all like our goal is just to bring more intelligent and just show off what Flint can do. You know what I mean? Whether you're in fashion, you're in writing, you're in video, you're in music. You've had all these guests come on here, and then even personal friends, and it's like we're all just trying to make it and what we want to do and do what we love, and it's really cool to see because I didn't grow up in Flint as a child. You know what I mean? I moved here right before I turned into a teenager.
Right.
So I developed and grew up in Flint, but I wasn't formed in Flint. I wasn't created in Flint. I didn't get to grow up with these people. And,
y'all hear these words?
And this stuff.
Said I wasn't developed and formed. Look, y'all hear that? Smooth.
But it's cool to be able to meet these people and have the opportunity to network with them and get to know them and see that these are people that just want to work. You know what I mean? Like on social media, they could be something completely different, and you could think they're on a level that's unattainable for you, or that they're doing like all this amazing stuff, and then when you meet them, they're just like regular people that have put their nose to the grindstone and have gotten to work. You know what I mean? Like they're just passionate about what they do. What they do, and they've taken time to get good at what they do. So that's what I've taken away. I think your podcast doing this has probably helped inspire me to work more on what I'm doing. Because I
told you, I was like, bro, you become real proactive in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, who the fuck am I talking to right now? I'm like, what the? Okay. Sure.
You've told me like you've been able to do all this and you've inspired yourself to do this stuff, and it's like I want to be able to inspire myself to do what I want to do and to push myself. You know what I mean? Like we'll get more into what I want to do on a season 2 of the podcast.
Got him. Y'all thought.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can take away.
Okay. I wanted to ask that because it was just like you've been here and you've absorbed so much. Like I was just curious to know like what your thoughts have been. Just seeing all of these people come in here and just listening to like the crazy stuff that they got to say or the crazy stuff that's going on in their lives.
See, and another thing is that like me not being a kid. Like I grew up here and stuff. It's like I haven't been able to keep relationships with people for very long. I've always moved around from area to area.
Got you.
But like, with me doing this podcast and stuff, it's like there's actually people in Flint that want to work and do stuff and like stick to their word when they say like, hey yo, let's get this done. You know what I mean? And it's like I've just been around so many people that like me trying to do video stuff, it's hard because I'm not around other people that want to do video stuff that want to take it seriously and actually know the process of getting stuff done and how to do it. So it's like it's good for me to feel like I'm being around professionals, but then also realizing that these are just people that know what they're doing when it comes to the work and they want to do it.
Like these is literally motherfuckers you could pull up on.
I'm saying, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
That's why that's why I be laughing about all the egos and all the beef. I'd be like, I could literally pull up on you.
Like, don't we live in the same city?
Like, at best, you're 15 minutes away.
Right.
At best.
At best.
Unless you live in, like, Grand Blanc or somewhere. Then you, like, 25 minutes
I'm pretty sure we all shop at the same 2 Walmarts. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that you don't go to a different Meijer that I do.
Cause you're not going. You might be going to the Walmart on Corona Road, but you probably going to the one out on Hill. And I've definitely run into some of you niggas out on Myers on Hill Road.
Running into too many people out just everywhere.
Well, you know what, y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us these 10 episodes. This first season has been a tremendous lesson and a tremendous evolution of where we first started to where we are now, for sure. There's been some headaches, there's been some bumps in the road, and you know, I'm appreciative to literally everybody, like, who helped put this together. Like, shout out to you. Appreciate you so much. I didn't even know you. I didn't know who the fuck you was. And now I'm like, this is my motherfucking nigga. This is a real nigga right here. So shout out to you. Shout out to Ant and Wave again for sponsoring this podcast, giving us this amazing space to work out of, do this. Shout out to John McKay because he was also here holding it down, engineering, setting up, offering his comments. Shout out to everybody who was on season 1. Anthony, Jesse, Farillo, Reese, Tay Boogie, Joe, Xander, Crip, Martin. Is that everybody? GS The Dream. Shout out to all of y'all. If I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize. I think that's it.
I believe that's everybody.
I think that's everybody. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much for once again trusting me to ask y'all some pretty good, now totally off the wall questions, and trusting me with y'all stories and bringing who y'all are. Appreciate y'all so much. We got some great shit coming season 2. That's all the fuck I'm gonna say. I got some people who've hit me up asking me to be on the podcast, and I know they shit is wild. So y'all be ready for some hilarious outtakes, some hilarious people, some phenomenal people, couple fine people.
Follow me on Instagram, 810 Miguel.
Let the people know where the fuck they can find you, my nigga. Let them know.
Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch.
God damn.
All of that is 810 Migo. That's 810 Migo. And then you can find me on Facebook at Majin Migo. Keep up to date. And if anybody's looking for podcast engineer,
hey, plug them.
You know, little acting roles for some stuff. I do a little bit of everything when it comes to media. So
yes, he does.
So let me know what you can do. We can work something out.
Hey.
But it's been great. The season's been great. It's been awesome to see you, working through all this and how we've progressed and gotten better.
Yeah. Because when this shit start releasing, I don't know what the fuck gonna happen then.
But we're famous.
At that point, we're gonna listen. I don't know. Okay, real quick before we totally end this, like, I don't know. I think it was like a couple days ago. Random. I was in the shower, or I was ironing my clothes. Iron y'all fucking clothes, cause y'all out here just wrinkled. Me go like, I'll iron my clothes. Anyway, I just got this random feeling. I was like, it was just like, this is about to blow. I really it was random. It was like a whoosh. And I was like, I got this weird feeling about this podcast. I don't know what's gonna happen, but buckle your motherfucking seatbelt, bro. That's really what I need to do. Buckle your seatbelt, cause
bring me with you. That's all I gotta say.
That's why I said buckle your motherfucking seatbelt, my nigga, cause I really feel like this is about to do something. I don't know what, but I feel like it's about to do something. It's gonna be something. And that's that on that. Is it for me? Y'all will catch you, motherfuckers.
Peace.
Season 2. Cut.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 10, 9, 8. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You ain't never met me for the moon crack. No, you ain't never labeled me as cool.